broke. I hope you know that. He was a very, very wealthy and powerful man in Babylon. So you can't say, oh, other people are doing it, they don't have money, they are the ones that need to help. It's not true. Those that even have more are meant to pray more. Are you with me? If you have more, we need to pray more for other people. Who did Daniel pray for? Was he praying for himself? He was praying for other people that needed the help. So first of all, the first thing that we're going to do is prepare. And preparing our mind is key. After we prepare our mind, we'll prepare our food. You have to start doing research. Just because there's some suggestion here, but guess what? They are suggestions. I don't know what your mouth or what you like to eat, but I always try to tell people, and then we'll have questions as well so they can ask. What I tell people to do is that anything from the ground, that is what you can cook. For those that don't, they say do not have money for apples, for pineapple, and the rest. What you can do is two things. You can tell God, Lord, you see this fast, I want to do it. I don't know how it's going to work, but please provide. I've gotten testimonies where people tell me that I did not have any money, but for some strange reason, they were able to get everything that they needed. You can ask God to provide. The second one I also tell people is that it's not everybody that can buy brown rice or olive oil. Use the one that you have in your house. If you cook rice, as they gave the rice here in the church, they also gave chicken, Abi. You say, I don't want. You remove that. Remove egg. My point is that you can use that to start. If you cannot start cooking the vegetarian, I hope you understand. You can start from that. You don't have to wait till you have so much. But then remove soda, remove palm oil. Normally I used to hear resistance when I hear palm oil. But you can remove palm oil, remove all forms of deep frying, like how you deep fry akara and the rest. Remove that for that time period. And then just eat plain food, no Maggi. Okay, so I should not be calling. No, what's the name for? I want to. It's called it's called seasoning, but it's called a particular thing. Artificial seasonings. Let me put it that way, because they put other things inside, right? But we can use things like thyme. You can use bay leaf. You can use iru, curry, salt. And other, as long as it's natural, as long as God made, remember, we are going to anything that God made from the ground, you can use that to season your food. If you use iru especially, it's very good. Like it tastes like as if you're taking, as if you added Maggi into your food. So you remove that for them. And I noticed something. Some girls that even joined the fast, even this last one that we just finished, a lady called and said that there's something that has been going wrong with her groin, and that the doctors couldn't, I think they can't really figure out for now what the problem is. And by the last week, we have to do testimonies. So she now gave it as a prayer request. She said, please, that we should pray for her, that ever since she started doing this fast, that the growing problem has disappeared. But that we should pray that it will not come back. I said, madam, it's not prayer request, it's testimony. It's not testimony. I said, it's testimony. I said, see, write out everything you are eating during this time, so that if it comes back again, you can put together to find out what it is you are eating on a normal day that is caused. Because everything, let me not say everything, I don't want to be, to put that in bracket. Most of the things that are wrong with us are food related. It's food. If you have pimple on your face, it's food though. Somebody said that's why I don't have pimple. It's good genes. My parents too were also vegetarian, so I grew up well. But still, one of the things I noticed is that whatever it is that is inside you, your body will produce it. Right? So that's how it works. So if you have what they call a headache, most times check whether you have not been drinking water. Right? It might be water. It might be because you are you are watching. It's something you did to yourself. It's not somebody did something from your village. Even if somebody curses you from your village, that curse cannot work except you have created an environment for the curse to work. So you have to make sure that your environment is clean. So now, what that fast does for you is that I noticed that people that even came just for other spiritual purposes, even people like now, we have women here, people that have severe period pains, came and tell me that the period pains were disappearing. I feel like we should say amen. Yeah, I feel like, because it's a very important, women are a very important subject, right? So I noticed that people were coming with different, there's a lady that had high blood, she has had high blood pressure, 180 over 110, 160, it's now become a norm. Young girl, she was like, of that time she was like 33, 34. And she called me 3 days into the fast. She was like, Boma, my blood pressure is down. It's the lowest it has ever been. It's like 120 now over. She said, hey, it's a miracle. This fast, it works. I said, calm down. It's not a miracle. Let me tell you why I know it's not a miracle. Exodus 15, verse 28. Is it up right now? Exodus 15, verse 28. Please, can we have it? Because I want all of us to read it together so that we realize that there are some things that we call miracles that are really not miracles. They are just a product of obedience. So please, is it there? Exodus 15, verse 28. Are you picking it up? What it says is, God told the Israelites when he was giving them the laws and the food laws, he said, if you obey my laws, 15 verse 28. But what God said is, if you obey my laws and obey my decrees, the diseases that the Egyptians had, you will not have them. Do you know, I just found out that they brought up, Daddy, you like this one. I didn't even tell you about it. They excavated one of the pharaohs recently, and they found out that some of them had died from like heart diseases, right? Oh, many of them like different diseases, cancer, different things. Yeah, the mummies, the ones that excavated, they could see some of the things that happened to them when they died. And I thought that was so interesting because God was very specific. He said that the diseases that the Egyptians had, you will not have it if you follow my laws and my decrees. So what are his food laws? Don't eat snails, don't eat catfish. Do you understand? And we know some of these health things. Don't take alcohol, don't take caffeine, even those that take coffee. And I used to tell people, some people say that coffee is not bad. I keep telling people, I said, those that take coffee every day, don't take coffee for 2 weeks. You will see that some people start shaking, having headaches, right? Have you heard of that before? See, people start falling ill when they don't take coffee or they don't take Lipton for 1 week. Your body you'll be disoriented. I keep asking that question. Can you get disoriented when you don't take pineapple for 1 week? Abby? So why is it that when you don't take some of these things for 1 week, your body is in disarray? That thing is a drug. Coffee and tea, they are drugs. Anything that God has given you, look at the things we are talking about, rice, beans, potatoes. You don't see yourself having withdrawals. But if you're someone that takes a lot of Coke, Fanta, Sprite, you'll notice that if you stop taking it for a while, sometimes you start having headaches, you start having body pains. Those things are drugs. So the minute we stop taking all those things, so people that are sick, that normally have high blood pressure, have diabetes, have different problems with their body, the minute they start this fast, most times they start seeing differences. Even those that don't have this thing, some other problems that you have, some people say that they have back pain, they have this one, their shoulder, they just start noticing that things start changing in their body. So I tell people that do this fast, I said, try it completely. Even if there is nothing wrong with you, try the food aspect completely. So that what will happen is, even if there is something wrong with you, you will just notice and you'll be able to figure it out and say, oh, it's because of this thing that I had been eating. That's the part for the food. And like I mentioned, these are suggestions. You see, YouTube is filled with so many recipes, so many things that you can research yourself. You can Google also recipes as well for vegetarian diets. If you know somebody that is vegetarian or knows how to cook vegan food, you can reach out to them as well and ask them so that you can actually be prepared before you start. Because what happens is that, like me, when I first started and some of my friends started, we couldn't complete it all because guess what? We didn't know what to do. We were very confused. When we will cook soup, the soup will taste like medicine. And when the soup tastes like that, you don't want to continue. You become so discouraged. So you can learn how to make very good food. Now, the other thing I tell people to do is prayer. Obviously, that we know that this period. Do you know why I don't emphasize so much about prayer? Who can tell me why I don't emphasize a lot about prayer? We are supposed to pray, but there's a reason why it's not one of the things I dwell on in this fast. Who can tell me why? Because that's what everybody... Don't you know you should pray? You know that, right? So I found out that if I tell you now, pray 3 times a day, 10 minutes at a time, is that hard? Is it hard? But if I tell you that you should forgive the person that rapes your sister, is that hard? Are you understanding where I'm coming from with this? So the problem now that what we do now is that we pray more than we obey. Am I right? Obedience is the hardest part of our Christian walk. Am I right? And until we can conquer the obedience part, our prayer sometimes is what? An abomination in the eyes of God. There are times I've had chocolate in front of me. I looked at it. I looked at God. I looked at it again. I said, Lord, please press this chocolate as I want to eat it. What does that tell you? I know that God is not blessing because he knows that it will give me problems. But guess what? I will still carry it and pray. But I will still disobey. Are you understanding me? It's very, very, very easy to pray. It's very, very difficult to obey. So that's why most times I always emphasize on the obedience aspect of this fast. Now, for the prayer part, one of the things I always tell people is we need to ask God how he's doing. How many of us have asked God how he's doing before? First elder, there's a reason why you're first elder. You've done the right thing. Who else has asked God how he's doing before? But I always notice that when I ask that question, always very few people actually say that. Have you ever thought of the fact that God has feelings? I want to ask a question. When you call your dad or your mother, those that have, or uncles, what is the first thing you say? Exactly. But then when Jesus prayed, he said we should pray how? Our what? Father, who art in heaven. My question now is that why is it that when I call my earthly father, the first thing I want to ask him before you beg for money is what? How are you? You first pamper the person. Have you know so? So my question is that why do we think that we shouldn't ask God how he's doing? Do you think he's always fine? Is he fine every time? I don't mean physically. We know that God is all powerful and he's fine. If he was physically always fine, as in what I call it, emotionally always fine, Jesus wouldn't have wept in front of Jerusalem. Don't you think so? So my question is that in that point, would you have said, Jesus, how are you? I don't know. What would you have done if you saw Jesus crying? What would you have done? No, I mean, even physically, what would you have done to Jesus? You'd have gone to what? Do you think he needed a hug? Or you think he needed a hug? My question now is that why do we treat God like he's not a person? Like he's not an emotional being? Have you ever thought that you can buy food for God before? Have you tried buying him recharge card before? Should I tell you how you can buy God recharge card? Should I tell you how you can buy God recharge card? Eh? I think some people know already how you can do that. You can call God and say, Lord, today, you've been so nice to me. I want to buy you a recharge card. Send me your account number. Just to know that God has OP. Eh? Eh? You don't think he has OP? Eh? God has an account. The account cannot go down. God has Access Bank, Eco Bank, GTB. So you can send money to his account. Ask him, Lord, I want to buy you recharge card. Then what he will do is that all of a sudden he will impress somebody for you to buy it for. That's how it works. You can say, God, I want to buy you food. What do you want today? Even chickens, if you collect too. That's the funny thing. He knows where we are all at. If we have tofu too, he will collect. The point is that he looks at what? Our hearts. So some people, they might not know what I know or understand what I understand. Point is that you need to start looking at God as he's an emotional being. Because I noticed that the more you understand him as an emotional being, the more you will not want to hurt his feelings. And what I mean by when you will not want to hurt his feelings, when you're about to lie about something, you have a feeling in your heart like you're doing something very bad to somebody that you love. I hope you understand. That's why I tell people, you need to ask God during this time, Lord, how are you? I know that based on my life, if I look at it very well, you might not be very happy about the things that I have been doing. Or you can even say, Lord, I see the state of Nigeria. I see the way the girls are dressing. I see what these boys are doing. I see in church people carrying their phones. So people are carrying their phone, laughing at it on Instagram and the rest. I see people doing these things, and I know, God, it grieves your heart. So today, how can I help you? How can I do something that, as you're grieved here, you can be happy? Anytime I read the story of Abraham when he was about to sacrifice his son, after he was about to sacrifice, and the angel stopped him. That Bible verse was so amazing to me, because he told Abraham, I swear by myself, I will bless you. Oh. Would you like God to swear by himself that he will bless you? Would you like to call your name and say, Sarah, I swear by myself. Jonah, I swear by myself. You see this blessing, I will bless you. A lot of us are robbing ourselves from the blessings of God. And the major reason why is because we have no fear of God. We fear human beings, the police, the courts. We fear everybody else except God. So now I want to try another kind of fear. Why not have love for God? Because I noticed that when you love somebody, you might know you won't want to hurt the person. So sometimes what I started doing was I started sitting down by my window. I'll look out my window and look at the sky and say, God, how are you? Are you okay? Have you eaten today? Point is, and I would sit down on my bed and I used to think that you sound so crazy. Because it was weird. I was like, what am I doing? But I realized that I had to keep practicing so that I can become better. We need to pray, but we need to pray differently during this time of fasting. And we're not just praying for ourselves, we're praying for others. Because one thing I noticed is that we're very selfish. Are you not selfish? Agree now. We're very selfish. I used to say all of us are leaders in one way or the other. Even when people say, oh, I'm not a leader, nah, even babies are leaders. If a baby should do right now, all of us, where's the baby? The parents will be busy. What do you want now? How can I help you now? All of us are leaders in different places. We are selfish. And we're selfish from the womb. We are very selfish people. So during this time of fasting, I learned this from Pastor Goya. He was saying, and because that time I was very ill, so all I wanted to do was pray for myself. God, heal me. But he said, no. God already knows that you're sick. Pray for other people, and God will solve your own problem. So I said, so when my body will start shaking, and because at some point my body would be like, I don't even know what to call it. My body would just be in disarray. So I will not remember that I'm not supposed to pray for myself. Imagine when you feel like you're about to go, and you're like, I'll stop. I'm like, I cannot pray for myself, so what can I do? I say, God, take control. God, take control. I'll not be walking because I didn't want to pray for myself. But I started praying for people. I started having a list where I started calling people's names and I started praying for people. Point is that God will answer you when you start looking out for other people. Because if you think about it, he's looking out for you, isn't he? So why not look out for him as well? You look out for God when you actually start tending to other people's needs. So that's for prayer. The other thing I want to speak about, which I noticed that even we as Adventists seem to have an issue with sometimes, is keeping the Sabbath holy. I noticed that even those that go to church on Sundays, they do not keep Sunday holy. Immediately they are done from church. Where are they? They are in the market. Me, for my personal use, I have no problem with that. So me, I've kept my own Sabbath holy, so I'll go to market and go and buy what I want to buy. But I realized that you guys don't keep it even holy. You're working from morning till night. I found out that the highest cause of disease in this world, you will not believe what it's from. 70% is from what? Stress related. Where does stress come from? Overworking. And have you noticed that there's sometimes you're not working, but your brain is working. You can't rest. You're thinking, oh, money. In fact, there's some people I know that are also thinking of the money that somebody is supposed to pay them. You think about it from morning till night. That one is not stress. Now, let me give another stress that youths, the young people, are going through. Phones. I was very surprised to find out that from your phone, you can actually be stressed. Did you know that? That's scrolling. I thought that when you scroll and this is, at least you're relaxing. I was surprised to find out that it's actually not relaxation, that your brain is, all that laughter, you see the, your brain is working. I was very surprised. So that means you're not even resting. So what I started doing was that I became very intentional about my Sabbath rest. Sabbath starts 7:30 p.m., 6:30 in my house, 6:30 p.m. You can decide when your own Friday starts. I think 6 p.m. some people, thereabout. But we do 6:30 in my house till 6:30 the next day. And what I started doing was that even my phone, everything's on silent. I don't answer any big business calls. And if somebody even something enters my head, what I do is, if you see me in church, sometimes you see me do like this. What do you think I'm doing? Well, anything that wants to, when I say, oh, that invoice, I shake it from my head. Now, all my clients know that even if something is fake, in fact, I don't even care. And let me tell you something. I'm a web designer, and I don't do regular website work. I do e-commerce. What does e-commerce mean? 24 hours a day, my clients' websites are on. So what that means, I have to be available how often? Always. So if something happens, there are some nights I've not been able to sleep because client website wahala. But guess what? You see that 24 hours, you can't catch me. One of my clients, I had worked with her for like about 2 years, and then she buzzed me. And she already knows I don't break the Sabbath. But she said, they were calling me one Friday evening when I was in church, calling me. And I was like, for these people to be calling me, there must be something very serious for them to be trying to reach out to me. I came back home. I went to my room. I knelt down. I said, God, I don't know why these people are calling me. But whatever it is, you know that me, I will not answer this call. So, Lord, whatever it is, we'll face it. We'll face it after Sabbath hours. But, Lord, take care of whatever it is. I'm done. When I moved on with my life, I went to church. I did not even tell anybody there was any problem going on because to me, there was no problem. After Sabbath hours, immediately Sabbath was done, I remembered that there was problem. I ran to my phone to go and check what exactly was the issue. Do you know that something that my client staff had never done before? They sent me a message and said, Ma, don't worry, we were able to fix it. Something that I don't even know how they had access. We were able to sort it. What do you think that happened to my faith? If somebody called me again on Saturday, what do you think I was doing? When I know that God is working over time. I've been working now for 5 years without breaking the Sabbath when it comes to my work. Not once in the 5 years I've been working has any of my clients had any issues on Saturday. Their problems run from Sunday to Friday. But for some strange reason, problem no day on Saturday. I only had 2 or 3 amens. It's not plenty. It's not enough. I need encouragement. Don't. My point is that we need to practice keeping the Sabbath. When they came back from captivity, Nehemiah mentioned to the Israelites, when they started, you remember they were buying things at the gate on Saturday. And he told them, he said, don't you know that this is one of the reasons why we were taken to Babylon? And even when they were gone from the land, how long were they gone from the land? 70 years. Do you know what God said? He said 70 years so that my land can have its Sabbath rest. What does that tell you? Please, I implore you, keep the Sabbath. I know, you know what? I like to tell people that this is only for 3 weeks. Keep the Sabbath for only 3 weeks. How many weeks did I say? 3. I always beg people. I just say, don't do more than, you say, oh, for the rest of my life. No. Keep it for how long? 3 weeks. Pick 3 Sabbaths. Start it. Then if you see that it's working for you, what will you do with it? Continue. But try this out. Now, the other part I want to speak about that is super important. My dad has already touched on it during the sermon. He spoke about sexual immorality. If after the fast, may I also say it too? I'm not afraid. If you have, you're still sleeping with somebody, you can continue after the fast. But during the 3 weeks, try not to do that. If you have to tell your girlfriend, your side chick, your side man, your boyfriend, tell everybody, see, I'm on a break. Oh. I need 3 weeks. I say that because if I tell you now, stop it for the rest of most people can't. They will say, that one had me. I'm not telling you to. I said 3 weeks. Try this out for 3 weeks. Tell everybody to pause. And try and be as clean as possible. And that includes, like he mentioned, pornography, masturbation, any kind of sexual immorality that you're engaged in. There are people too that are also sleeping with house helps. There are people too that are sleeping with houseboys. Joseph's, Potiphar's wife is not the only wife in history. We have them plenty here in Abuja. I hope you're aware. My point is that during this time, you can decide not to be Potiphar's wife. Keep yourself clean. For husbands and wives, because people ask me this, husbands and wives, it now depends on your home. You decide how you want to go about it. If you speak to your husband or you speak to your wife and they say no, please, it's not compulsory. But what I tell people, I always use Exodus 19. When God was about to come down and give the 10 commandments to the Israelites, he told them, he said, tell the Israelites that they should abstain from sexual, for any form of, not sin, but any form of sexual interaction for 3 days before meeting God. Now God talk about So I use that as my example. So if we want to meet God, I think it's just something extra that we can also give and put on the table. Is that fine? Then another thing that people might overlook is stealing. I mentioned it briefly. When a man comes to meet a woman, I want to use this as an example. When a man comes to meet a woman and tells the woman, see, I like you, I will take care of you, and starts buying her gifts, phones, taking her to the movies, and the lady starts going, but she's really not interested, but she likes the gifts. I want to ask a question. Is that stealing? Is that stealing? Somebody said they don't know. You have no plans. I have no... There's a difference if it's, let me try and see if this would work. That's different. But you have no interest. In fact, when you speak to your friend, say, that ugly boy, if I finish him, I'll finish his money. But the intention is not, the intention in the beginning is still not good. We're saying even if you have interest later, now, is that stealing? Remember when I started reading Ellen White, I started realizing that stealing is not necessarily just going to go and rob a bank. I mentioned it as well. You can talk to somebody for hours. There was a friend I had there. I'm about to do work. She'll call me. Oh, geez, 6 hours. Not one day. Almost every day we'll be talking. It was when I gave my life to Christ, I realized that, my goodness, I've been wasting my time. Oh. Do you think she was stealing my time? I can't even say she was stealing it because I was stealing her own because I was engaging now. I did not say I don't want. My father had to now tell me, he said, even this Daniel fast. He said, because there was a time I would be telling people about the Daniel fast. I'll talk to one person 3 hours. Talk, explain. Because some people, I'll be dragging with you. No, you can't do it. No, I cannot do it. You can't do it. 3 hours. My father called me one day, said, my daughter, come. Talk to people 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Tell them that you have a job to do. You're working. Know how to manage your time. We can steal people's time. Are you with me? And that brings me to gossiping as well. Gossiping is a real thing, right? Who does not like gist here? I'm happy that everybody's hand is down. There's nobody here that does not like gist. During this time, we're not gisting. Or we're not gisting. Let me put it this way. We're not gisting about things that don't matter. Right? You cannot call. They'll call you about Sister Margaret. Talk. Talk about all the latest things on the Insta blog. Right? All the latest gist. During this time. And that's why I said preparation is important. I tell people, inform. Like there's one of the girls I spoke to. She said, she has to inform some of her colleagues at work that she can't gist this period. Though. That she has one person like this that she has to avoid her. Point is that you have to plan even the friends that you're going to be around. Because there are some people, you see this fast, you'll be failing every day because you're around them. So now another thing that I realized is bad language, anger. Anger has taken so many people to jail. It's taken so many people's lives. During this time, you're going to give your anger to God. There are so many things. There's one guy I know about, and I know that his anger is one of the reasons why he's where he is. Because some people will not tell you, but they avoid you. There are some jobs or things that they would have liked to do with you. They'll be like, this person is good, but the anger. So during this time, we're not going to be angry. You're not going to be angry for 21 days. Is it possible? It's not possible. You want to tell me somebody will do something to you, you will not be angry once in 21 days. Even your children. You will not shout. Yeah? My point is that with God, all things are what? Possible. You can purpose in your heart that you're not going to be angry for 21 days. What I mean by that is that when the anger comes, as soon as you remember that you're fasting, you have to say, I'm fasting. I cannot be angry. It's not that you can't caution people. It's not that everybody that goes, you understand what I mean? But you cannot be angry and you cannot take your grudge to the next day. And then taking the name of the Lord in vain. I notice that some Adventists still do that. Something will happen. Jesus! Right now, when I hear it, my body crawls. I'm like, why is Jesus an exclamation mark in our words? Have you been hearing that? It's terrible, please. During this time, try to start changing the way you speak and stop using God an exclamation mark. Another important part that I notice that people have an issue with is complaining. We will not complain for 21 days. Somebody said amen. Say amen. You will not complain about anything. You will not complain about Buhari. You will not complain about, Buhari has gone, Abi. We have a new one. You will not complain about the government. You will not complain about the governor. You will not complain about life. Anything that happens to you, you will say what? It is well. God, thank you. And I realized that changed my life when I started doing that too. I realized that, is it 1 Corinthians 13? I can't remember the particular verse that says, it's a popular verse that says that God cannot give us more than we can handle. Right? So if you're constantly complaining, that means He's giving you more than what? You can handle. And God cannot give you more than you can handle. So what you need to now do is ask God, say, Lord, I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm going to accept everything that comes my way. There's one girl that has an autoimmune disease in America, and they called me. She said this is one of the worst things that's ever happened to her in her life. Different things. It's a terrible situation. And what has happened to her, I've never heard it before. She's even allergic to avocado. Vegetables, though. She's allergic to, her one is bad. So you can't even say, do Daniel fast, eat vegetables. It was terrible. So I asked her something. I said, have you ever thought of thanking God for this rare disease that you have? She said, I've never thought of thanking God for it before. And I said, because if God is allowing you to have this, He can use you as a testimony to other people. Am I right? So I'm like, why not say, God, thank you for my problems. Thank you that this is rare. That means I'm special. Abby? I'm special. This disease is only me where get am. God, thank you now. I will use it to laud your holy name. It's a different way of accepting problems. And I realized that when you start accepting it like that, you realize that what will happen to those problems? They don't necessarily have to go. You just find out that they don't faze you. You'll be looking at the problem and it'll be looking at you. You say, problem, what's up? Nothing to me. I'm not afraid. Are we going to try that? Even if you don't want to do the fast, are you going to try that?